That's right. Morning Miller back at it again. Let me know if you can hear me. This will be an audio only because, well, let's just say that no visuals needed for how explicitly controversial this is going to be. But let me know if you can hear me. Okay, how about now? Does this sound much better? All right, so we are on and cracking. Perfect. So I got the headphones on, the mic is on, everything is on. The only thing that's not on for this one is the camera. And well, there's good reasons for that. Some reason for the show and the effect of what we are trying to convey with the message, and then the other part of that is also just predicated on set of circumstances and what have you. But on any regard, we are going to get this meeting started, and we are going to talk about this particular controversial issue. And by the way, there is a reason why this topic is still hot right now. This is the reason why I'm still making a video on it. There's a reason why other content creators are still making a video on it because you guys are in high demand of this particular subject. And there is no denying that. You guys want this subject. You guys want to know about it. And you know what? I think there's reasonable suspicion that many people have on this particular topic. Okay. It's a very reasonable suspicion for many people to have it on both sides of the other. And I got to be honest with you, that kind of gives me a bit of hope in humanity. Now, you want to know why that gives me hope for humanity? I look at it like this. For those of you that have a very high IQ, okay, I think you would agree that a vast majority of the world are fools or not very smart or not very high IQ'd. And you would feel that way for multitudes of reasons. One of the reasons why you would feel that way is because, oh, Rampage called out MMA Guru. Is that right? Okay, that's interesting. Rampage called out MMA Guru. I wonder what video he saw that sort of did that, or was it one of those clips that people had, picked up on and just decided, you know what? Yeah, here's what he said in his live stream because you know how it is. He keeps some live streams as a members only. There's a clip on it on Twitter of what Rampage calling him out. Has Guru responded to that yet? Boy, let me tell you, man, California is not a place that MMA Guru wants to come. Okay? Biggie Smalls. That's all I got to say about that, right? If you know anything about the history of rap and what happened to Biggie Smalls and where it happened to Biggie Smalls, it was a fatal mistake. Look, man, let me tell you something, right? Everything that you heard about Raja, I'm not going to say whether it's true or not, but you need to take caution on whether that's a reality or not, right? Because if there's one thing that a lot of these California dudes out here know how to do, is that they know how to set people up. Okay. There's people that, let's say, work in LA, LAX, the airport, right? They see a famous rapper celebrity. Okay. And what do? Well, they go and talk to one of their hood homies that's, you know, doing the house robbery or what we call out here in the California streets flocking, right? So they get that going on and they are privy to their address, their information, their Airbnb, what type of jewelry they are carrying with them in their trip, right? So once again, I got to tell you guys, California out here, this is a very tricky place. Rampage, obviously, he comes from that world over here. Raja being brought up in this part of the United States, he's been brought up around something like that. I would be very careful if I was MMA guru, okay? Because you got to understand, he's an MMA content creator, right? So as a result of MMA Guru being a content creator, he has to come out to California at some point, right? So let me read the comments here. So he says Guru responded in a tweet to Rampage today. He did. Oh, okay. All right. Well, that makes it a little bit interesting. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find something to that. Yeah, okay. So sorry, had a little bit of a bad connection there from the other device that I am using because I am currently yes, broadcasting to you through my phone right now in audio form. So yes, so you be patient with me there for a second. Oh, okay. So um what I was talking about was if you're high IQ, right? I think that it bothers you that a lot of people have a very skewed, one-sided view of this particular topic with Raja and Stu, because there's a lot of things going on at play, right? Like a lot of people are expecting an arrest, and many people are wondering why there's no arrest going on. Well, that's probably because you don't understand the law to its extent. But we're going to talk about that. What did Marty Miller here says? He says Rampage is not doing anything illegal. He loves himself and his life too much. Uh all right. Well, I would concur with that. Fresh melon juice. Like I'm not going to disagree with that, but at the same time, uh you don't know what people are capable of as far as I don't know. I don't know how to really say it right. Like yeah, yeah, I guess you're right to a certain extent. He's not going to do anything illegal. That is the right thing to say. Correct. Boars MMA says, "Is there a clip on Twitter on his kick stream?" Hello. Hey, how are you, my man? Um let's see here. Rampage responded, he's calling you Marty now. You might get banned soon. Oh man, Rampage is not doing okay. So yeah, 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 yeah. So uh, a Rampage definitely has a lot to do right now in terms of public relations, right? Because even though it is not in the world of legality right now, it's not in the world of warrants or anything like that, um, it could change really soon. You see what I'm saying? Rampage is a grown man. He's not a moron playing gangster. Oh no, I'm not Marty. Oh well, here's the thing, fresh melon juice. You don't understand that right now, Rampage's life is being threatened by multitudes of people. Right? Look it up. There's threats, at least reported threats, allegedly on Rampage's life right now. Right? So, what do you expect Rampage to do if he decides to, do something, gangster or whatever, right? Or whatever you want to call it. I mean, I don't label, anything into anything, right? I don't label anything into a can of paint. You know what I'm saying? So, um, yeah, Guru responded to our Rampage. I gotta go find, get a laptop real quick here and, take a look at this. I did not know that. He responded to him. Very interesting turn of events here. Yeah. I wonder if MMA Guru uh plans on coming to California. You know what I mean? Like he's always talked about how he wants to do a US trip. He never has, right? So I don't know. I don't know what the cautionary tale would be for him. You know what I mean? Other than, of course, it would be a security issue. So Guru isn't going to do anything in terms of what visiting America or in terms of protecting himself. Oh, hands down. Listen, I know Guru is he's not about that life. I'm going to just kindly say that, right? Like, I know Guru claims South London, this, that, and the other, but, let's just be honest. Like, you're a poor white kid that lives in that part of town because you had no choice. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're hood. And guess what? Here's the crazy thing about this, right? So now that we're really going to get uncensored here on this channel right now. In Stockton, there's a lot of people that I knew that grew up in Stockton, but they weren't really about that life. Like a lot of them were in-home computer nerds. They weren't like out there, active with, the streets or anything of that sort, right? But that's okay. That's fine. But you can't also live like that, but then later on claim, well, I'm from Stockton, so I'm hard. But you didn't really activate yourself in the environment, right? So you can't really. So yeah, that's kind of what it is with Guru, right? So in other words, Guru is a cop calling snitch. He will call the cops on you if you were to hit him. Like he's got beef with Ali Abdelaziz. He's got beef with who does MMA Guru have beef with? Okay, for sure, Israel Adesanya, John Jones, that's for sure. He's got beef with a lot of people in the MMA world. So, Guru will not fight in the streets. He's a pro MMA fighter. Yeah, sure. Fresh Melangy says Max outclassed Justin, matching him up with Ilya would be insane. Justin and Ilya would be an insane fight. That is a fight they are trying to either draw up for December, right? There's either Armin or there's Ilya Tapora. Those are some of the choices that they have going on right now. Bubba Angel says Nate Diaz wouldn't have done that. Wouldn't have done what, Bubba? What would he not have done? Are you talking specifically about what Raja did, or yeah, explain, or do you mean like he would not be about that street life? Because I can tell you, I don't think Nate Diaz and the Diaz brothers are really about the street life as well. I think that them representing Stockton sort of highlights the image that, let's say, the real tough guys of Stockton would want, right? Somebody that is a Grady that will get in your face and this, that, and the other. But okay, that's one thing. That's one thing to put it in a combat sports type of character, right? Or a type of gimmick. But it's one thing to actually like live it. And I think that it would be very impossible for Nick or Nate Diaz to have lived that life. But as I told you publicly, they got into it with some Asians and got guns pulled on them when they were younger. So that's, that is a fact on public record as within the testimony of Nick Diaz, which to me, I mean, I don't know how you feel about it. To each may vary. That's a form of snitching. Why are you going on an MMA podcast or an MMA magazine talking about these experiences that you had, right? Because man, listen, there's just certain things that you don't say. Uh, Not even, I don't know, man. Yeah, there's just some things that you don't say, but yeah. Anik, Ank by KO. Oh, what Raja did. Okay, yeah, Nate Diaz would not do that. No, no, no. He would not do that. No, no. But you got to understand, as gangster as Nate comes across, you also have to understand that Nate is also the type of guy that was surrounded by a very positive environment. Okay, in terms of a healthy training environment. Okay, so in other words, he doesn't suffer from the same psychological torture that Raja has gone through. And you know what? Here's the thing, right? This is why I tell you guys this is a very high IQ channel. Because even though it may seem like I support Raja, I also talk about how bad of his father was. I also talk about how there's a certain exercise of emotional control that he could have used in this. But at the same time, I also do say that it is sort of his fault as well. Now, let's get to the controversy of this bone matter at hand, right? And the controversy is this, and it's better that there's not much people here than there would be more people, but this is something a lot of you guys need to hear. So Syko Stu is a former veteran. Here's a couple of things that I have a problem with that, right? I am so sick and tired of many vets using that as a crutch to somehow leverage what they think they are entitled to. Now, here's something that you got to understand, right? There are a lot of things that vets are entitled to, and then there's a lot of things that I think they're just being crybabies about. This is not the place to debate that right now. But the main topic that I'm talking about is these type of vets that you see at the OFWs, at the veterans posts, at the veterans hangout areas, just always talking about the same old stories over and over again, which is fine. Okay, that's one thing to talk about the stories, but then to actually feel like you're actually living it where it gets weird, you still start wearing the same uniform that doesn't fit you anymore, BDUs that don't fit you anymore in the same way that it did when you were 18 or 19 years old, right? Like, this is like, at some point, you got to learn to get over it. Look, there is this 50 Cent military movie, right? Where he went to a PTSD meeting and he told a fellow vet who, by the way, served in Vietnam, and 50 Cent's character told him, dude, you need to get over it. This is 50 Cent, by the way, playing an Iraq War veteran in this movie, right? 50 Cent's character tells the Vietnam vet, dude, you need to get over it. That was years ago. You need to get over with your life and this, that, and the other. You know what? Like, I think there's some merit to that, right? Because I don't know, man. You know, it seems as if like sometimes there's it becomes a little bit too much. You know, using the whole veteran card thing, because look, here's the reality of things, right? For the real ones that know and for the real ones that understand, I need you to hear this, okay? Uh Marty Miller says he acts like a friend, not a father. You're talking about Rampage, yes. Fresh Melon Juice says you and Guru are like the same, like Palestinians and Israelis are the same as Okay, so you're saying we are like the Palestinians and Israelis when it comes to this subject of Raja and you know, and Stu, right? Is that what? If so, man, that's a very good comparison. Fresh Melon Juice says Guru said Rampage was out streaming and bowling with a whore, and instead of focusing on his son who is in big trouble. Yeah, Guru is right about that, right? He's absolutely right about that. Um, but what was I saying before? Okay, so the whole veteran thing, right? I think that it gets way too overplayed and way too overused, and good for Syko Stu to use wrestling as a way to cope with his feelings, right? But you know who else was a Vietnam War vet? Who is also a military vet? Jesse the Body Ventura. And all the years that I've watched professional wrestling, I would have never even suspected that because of the way that he dressed, the way that he fit into the civilian world, the way that he basically assimilated the fashion sense of the 80s, looking fly the way that he did, right? And presenting himself as as a very attractive commentator, or a wrestler that everybody wanted to pay tickets to go see, right? He did a good job of that, right? He didn't wear like these old beat down BDUs that he had from Vietnam and say, hey, look at me, I'm a vet. He didn't throw around that I was a vet or this, that, and the other. What he did was use the discipline that he learned from the military and used it to further better himself. And I think that is the ultimate goal that you should get out of the military, because the reality of the military is this, right? You're fighting for a colonial force that doesn't care about you. Okay, that yes, we have the best standards in the world as far as America. That right there is something that I will absolutely fight for, right? Is having those type of commodities, but that comes with a price of the taxes. And if you're a Californian, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So on and so forth. Okay. But the reality is that you're also fighting for the military industrial complex. And at what point are you going to be proud of that? Yes. Should you be proud that you went through Marine Corps boot camp? Yes. Should you be proud that you went through, Marine Force recon training, Navy SEALs training, Delta Force, Rangers? Should you be proud of that? Yes. But at what point do you stop using that as a crutch, rather than using the military skills that you acquired as a way to better yourself? So, let me know what you guys think about what I just said right now, in terms of that. Um, Marty says SMH. Rampage called out Guru for saying animal. Well, there you go, man. Yeah, I'm going to get to that right there. I'm going to highlight that comment from Boars MMA right there. Juice Man, shout out to you, man. Long Beach in the house. That's what I'm talking about. Anakin grabbing intel for his master at the Cunt Show. Is that what you're saying? Fresh Melon Juice says the same. Yeah, so, okay, so Stu, let's get back to Stu, okay? I prefaced to you guys how a lot of people overuse the veteran card, right? And then I gave you guys a reality of it, right? The military industrial complex that you are fighting for. Yes, you are fighting for America. It's great. It's the loveliest country in the world, and I absolutely attest to that. But at the same time, it's a country that is tied in with some serious, horrific war crimes around the world, right? Not necessarily the fault of the citizens, because I will always believe that, in my heart of hearts, I look at many Americans as, very kind people. I think that, as Americans, we are very kind people, very giving. It is in our nature to do that, sort of like the Hulk Hogan song, right? If you remember, that's what it felt. That's when it felt good to be an American, right? I will fight for the rights of every man. I'm a real American. Fight for the rights of every man. If you harm my brother, you're going to hurt my pride, and all of that, right? That is what is the true essence of American spirit. Okay, and I absolutely will stand on that, right? But at the same time, you got to understand that, at what point, do you stop being proud of, of contributing to, the military industrial complex of the world that may have been involved with, hurting innocent people. So, Marty Miller says everything is racist. In terms of what exactly? Fresh Melon Juice says yeah, and Rampage played the victim card. It's how some are raised to think. Huh, okay. Well, when all else fails, Fresh. Okay, and then Boars MMA says, isn't it odd for Rampage to stream after all of that has happened? Yeah, so are you saying that he should have shut down the stream at that time? Or I can kind of agree with you, right? And this is another thing, Boars MMA, right? I think this is something you and I can agree with as fellow Muslim brothers, right? I think Non-Muslim fighters, unfortunately, share too much of their life to the outer world. Okay? Take, for example, Dustin Poirier. Do I really need to know who Joe Lee is or his kids or this, that, and the other? I mean, honestly, I need you guys to tell me in the comment section below. Do you really care who the family members are of fighters? Unless, of course, they're part of the fight game as well and they coach or they fight themselves. Honestly, answer me that. Do you guys honestly care? Okay, write on the comment section below. I need somebody to answer that. Let me know if you guys actually care about knowing these people's family members who are not related in the fight game. Okay, so Boars MMA says only the fighters I care about, not the family. Okay, so very good. But Boars MMA, tell that to Dustin Poirier. Okay, tell that to Ilia Topuria, because now I know who Ilia Topuria's significant other is. I know his kids. Do I really want to know who Ilia Topuria's kids are? I don't really care. I really don't care. And you know what? Unless you're a weirdo, you really shouldn't care either. So you see, this is us like really getting into some uncensored territories right here, right? Because think about this, right? Conor McGregor once said to Khabib, "You know what? You hide your women and your kids and this and that." Did anybody ever ask Conor McGregor, Conor, why do you care what Dagestani kids are doing? Why do you see what I'm saying? What I'm trying to tell you is that there are just different cultural practices that involve the Muslim way of thinking than that of the Western training. And I'm not here to present to you, why one is better than the other, but you got to think, right? When Conor McGregor said, "Hey, such and such is in me DMs, mate," to Dustin Poirier, that could have easily been prevented if we didn't know who the heck Jolie was or their daughter or this, that, and the other. But of course, they want to try to make these guys look like, "Hey, I'm a family man," just like the average fan or this and that. That's just not how it works. That's not how it works. You're not involved in the fighting. Even if the kids train with the dad, at a certain age, they can't be filmed anyway into the embedded series. That's just the reality of it. So all this idea about, show your wife and kids or this, that, and the other. Well, if the other guys don't want to do that, guess what? The worst thing that you're going to say is that Khabib's wife is a towel. Okay, you didn't say that she's FAT, fat, or a double chinned, or has too much blonde hair or has too much brunette hair. None of that, because you don't know. And guess what? The fact that you don't know is the reason why it is perfect for the reason why those rules are the way that they are. Let me read these comments here. So, okay, Boris said not the family. Okay, Marty Miller says, I was talking about Rampage calling Guru a racist, using the word animal. Okay, so I'm going to pin that one that Marty Miller says. Rampage calling Guru a racist for using the word animal. Okay, so that one is going to get pinned. Is Kyrie in the bathroom? No, I'm not. I'm not in the bathroom. I'm at a place where I don't need to tell you, but definitely not a bathroom. Okay, definitely not a bathroom. What I will say is I'm at a place that has high ceilings, and that's all you need to know. You know what I mean? A lot of places that I'm at, have high ceilings. Let's just put it like that. Okay. So Boris says, LOL. So, okay. So this is what I mean. Okay. So he calls him an animal, right? Here's the thing, right? Guru knows what he's doing when he's saying that. And I know everybody wants to like, dude, let me tell you something, guys. Okay. I'm one of those people that's what I would call a realist when it comes to racism, right? Like, in other words, like, I will call out blatant racism if it's there, but at the same time, I'm not going to play this game of ambiguity like the way they are playing this game of ambiguity with Raja and Stu, right? Let me explain something, right? Nobody between Stu and Raja are racist. And I'm going to tell you why. The reason why none of them are racist is because think of it like this, right? Raja grew up in the MMA world. Okay, his uncle is Chael. He grew up with a lot of white people, and this is the uncensored part of this, the politically incorrect aspect of this. But if you are involved in MMA, you're probably going to be around a lot more white guys than any other group of people. And I think you guys would agree with that, right? Tell me if you guys agree with that or not. That's just a reality, but at least in the United States, maybe not in Brazil, maybe not in Japan, because obviously, if you're going to be in the MMA world of those worlds, then the demographics are just going to be what they are. But in America, in England, in Canada, in the English speaking world, okay, you're going to be around a lot of white people in the MMA world, and Raja Jackson is not, excluded from that. Neither am I. Neither is anybody that has trained MMA in North America. No one. Okay, so therefore he's not racist. Just like myself. Okay, I have a lot of white homies that I've gotten along with. T.J. Dillashaw. He was one of my favorite guys to be around in Team Alpha Male. I loved his energy because he was an absolute psycho. No pun intended to Syko Stu, but TJ Dillashaw was an absolute psycho. Okay, and I loved it. And I loved his energy because I shared the same energy. But I tell you what, right? Syko Stu is also not a racist. You want to know why? He is, what do you call it? He is a military guy. And as a military guy, he has been around different types of people. But here's a politically incorrect thing that I'm about to say right now, okay? I don't think Stu hates black people in any kind of way. Impossible. For sure, he's trained and served with black Americans. That is no doubt in my mind. Okay, that is no doubt in my mind. But I also have no doubt in my mind maybe he has some biasness towards Muslims, right? Can we agree with that? Let me read some of the comments right here. So, um, he says, "Bathroom for sure. I can hear your voice." No, I'm not in a bathroom at all. Dude. Listen, I don't think you understand. I have high ceilings in my house. I don't know if you notice. I'm not one to brag or anything, but yeah, I'm just saying. Five finishes in a row. Boars MMA says Guru is clearly a Dagestani hater. Any other fighter that he doesn't appreciate. And then Big Boar says it's true. Fresh Melon Juice says, I think Islam problem in London is playing into how MMA Guru feels about Dagestanis. I think the Islam problem in London, okay, plays. I agree. You know what? I'm going to pin that comment. Fresh Melon Juice. That's absolutely true. Yes. He says, your protege. Okay. I think Stu hitting who's the protege? Remind me again. Sorry, I was a bit of that monologue there. Bruce, I'm sorry, Boars MMA says, I think Stu hitting him with the beer can shouldn't have happened. Correct, correct, correct. Because obviously, if he did, that would have not been an action on the part of Raja in any kind of way. Raja seems like a guy that's very cool, calm, and collected, especially if you are his ally or his friend or his homie. But if you get on his bad side, I think you would absolutely, feel the tragedy and the entire trauma in his life, and he's going to dump it all over you. Just a random guy at an event because he wasn't a worker. Marty Miller says, TJ, LOL. Oh, yes, yes. Okay, okay. Oh, man, yeah, or you're a protege, yes. You know what? Listen, I think I am older than TJ Dillashaw, not by a lot. I think we're only like 1 year away from each other. So I'm older, obviously, by 1 year. No, maybe 2 years. I think he was born in '87, but uh, yeah, man, he's not that. He's actually younger than me. Uh, but obviously he's the one that taught us that style. So, but you know what I mean. Nice little banter on that one. Andrew says hi. Hey, Andrew, how are you, my man? How are you, man? Glad that you guys are here. So, okay. Uh, Syko Stu, right? Here's another controversial thing that you guys have to understand that is going to get uncensored here. I think a part of it is that look, you guys are not going to like me for saying this. Maybe some of you will, maybe some of you won't. Maybe this is just on brand with everything that I promise with you guys about my content. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to say that Stu deserved some of this. Not all of it, but some of it. But at the same time, you also got to know that, hey, listen, some people out there are a ticking time bomb. Do you honestly think that I would go and play pranks in the hood, in some random hood, throw some random color up and this, that, and the other at 40 years old? Do you think that I would honestly do that? No, because I know the consequences of what comes with that. It's not to say that he should have known, but he was inebriated. Okay, and this is the thing that Mark Henry was talking about that a lot of y'all don't want to take into consideration. Mark Henry said that he would fire anybody that worked under his promotion who was drunk and was not professional. Get him out of here. And I agree with him. Okay, because I tell you what, as somebody that understands the value of training hard, as somebody that understands the value of being professional in every single thing that I've ever done in my life, right? In every professional setting, whether it was in the corporate world, the sales world, or even when I started out as a nursing assistant, when I first moved to, well, actually, you know what? I was probably, I was okay at that job. There's no rating to that particular job other than, I guess, how you made other people feel. And I think I've had a lot of good positive experiences with people in that world. But on any regard, I try to do everything that I can to a highest professional standards that also included college, that also includes doing podcasts and talking with you guys. So I understand what Mark Henry means when he says present yourself in the most professional way possible. You know what? It's not professional to show up at work drunk. Nobody wants to talk about that. And again, this is not victim blaming or anything, but this is just reality talking in the most politically incorrect way. Let me know if you guys understand what I mean by that. And let me know if there's anybody that has been offended by that. And we're not here to offend anybody, right? Remember, we are onlookers on this situation, not in it, but it does strike a nerve to a lot of people. And for multitudes of reasons I could probably name in just a second. Big Boar says, has there been an update on Raja? Yeah, there hasn't been any arrests so far. So there you go, right? This is what I mean, guys. There hasn't been any arrests so far, and it's been a couple of days and nothing happened. Exactly. You know what LAPD did? They went basically a whole bunch of crypt organizations down in LA. They took down with the LAPD and the help of the FBI. Oh, he says you can't hear me. Audio dude can't hear. Oh no. Okay, how about now? Can you guys hear me now? Can you guys hear me now? Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Better. Okay, so you guys can hear me better now. Okay, good, good, good. Okay, so what was I saying? Sorry, as I was interrupted by a phone call that well, yeah, I should have probably. I mean, I don't know. I shouldn't be taking phone calls while I'm especially if it's private ones. But yeah, okay, yeah, great audio, by the way. Okay, so let me so let me rewind back what we're seeing here. Or says, has there been an update on Raja? Yeah, there hasn't been any arrests. So oh, okay. So I was saying, all right. Yeah, so Guru would never take a phone call on the stream. No, you know what? Listen, it's very risky. It is very risky to take a phone call because you don't know what those people are going to say, and it could be very difficult to edit it out. And then, yeah, man, yeah, it would not be a very good idea. It would not be a very good idea at all, to say the least. So yeah, no, look, this weekend the LAPD was working on Crips, basically, right? That's on public record. That is on the news. You guys can check it out. That is what they got going on right now. So tell me why? Look, here's a crazy part about it, right? A lot of you are talking about, oh, attempted unaliving. You okay? You know how serious that is, right? So of course LAPD is going to get at you if, let's say, you shoot a gun at somebody, right? So these Crips, guess what they are in for? Guess what these Crips are in for? You want to know? Does anybody want to know what they're in for? They're in for robbing houses. And we're talking about close to getting life because of the millions that they had stolen. Okay, so it's not that dangerous to rob a house, right? There's no unaliving involved in that, unless, of course, there's home invasions going on. So you're telling me that the so-called attempted unaliving of Stu Smith, okay, is going to be somehow overlapped by Crips who are robbing houses, and yet severe with the punishment, getting a life sentence or close to a life for just house robberies, but no unaliving involved. Let me know if that makes any sense for anybody down below, right? Because there's a reason why he hasn't been picked up yet, and this is the main fact that we have to talk about. We got to talk about why is it that homie did not get picked up. I urge anybody to write on the comment section below. Marty, what do you think? Tell me, Marty. Why do you think the cops haven't showed up yet? Is it because of Rampage Jackson, Big Boar's MMA? I don't know. Are you suggesting? Okay, let me preface this, Big Boars. You know, Compton PD, there is no longer Compton Police Department, right? And it was because of Suge Knight that it got abolished. Let me give you a little story, okay? In the 90s, Suge Knight ran Compton Police Department because he had boys in the force. They paid them, and some of them were death row security guards for the weekend. In other words, they would go to rapper shows and work security detail. Okay, so this corruption was so rampant that they tore down the Compton Police Department and decided to turn it into a sheriff's police department. So it was converted from the jurisdiction of Compton Police Department into the jurisdiction of Los Angeles County Sheriff's Police Department that is in Compton. And for those of you that understand American law and understand American law enforcement, you know that there is a difference between the sheriffs and a regular police department in the types of aspects in their branches that they cover. For example, the sheriffs, you're going to see them in courthouses. Those are some of the details that they do. Prisoner transport, working with marshals, U.S. marshals that transport prisoners, and of course, like every law enforcement, working with the feds and Homeland Security. So you guys understand what I'm talking about. Marty Miller says, I'm not sure, honestly. Maybe they need Stu to wake up to press charges. Okay, that's good. That's a good analysis. And you know what? And this is the thing, right? I need you guys to understand that anybody's guess is as good as anybody else's, right? I don't go out there and say, well, I know for a fact that this is happening or this and that. Guys, I'm only telling you what I learned from law and from what I hear from other lawyers and just from past experiences alone that were very similar to this. Not exactly a pro wrestling show, but very similar to this. This is a case that I've seen in person. not as a witness, but as well. Let's just say that these things are not uncommon in in the hood, right? Whether it's in the East Coast or West Coast, I don't think you know which one I'm talking about, and that's what it is. So, is it because of Rampage Jackson? So, to answer Bohr's question to that, going back to the Suge Knight story, it's not impossible to buy off LAPD. Okay, so another thing too is that there have been Mexican cops, Mexican American cops in the south of the border, okay, getting positions in the police departments down in these borders near San Diego and Mexico within that border. And, they tell them, hey, look the other way, and we're going to bring this up. We're going to bring this through the borders and this and that. Yeah, this is a known fact. This is a well documented FBI released information that is out there for you to find. Okay, that has happened before. So what I'm saying is that police corruption is a possibility, and it is to your advantage. And then you got to understand also, the Mexican gangs are very strong in California because they have family members that are in the police force. When you go to LA, when you go to San Diego, you will see Officer Sanchez, you will see Officer Martinez, Officer Rodriguez, right? They would be of shades of different ethnicities, some that look like Canelo Alvarez, and then some that look like Julio Cesar Chavez, and then some that look like Mayorga, very native looking, right? So there's all variations of Sanchez's, Martinez, and this, that, and the other. In other words, it is a Latino, Hispanic populated state with a good reason behind its history and lineage. So Marty Miller says, yeah, but with a story this big, you would think they would still buy them off. I think that this isn't the Suge Knight days anymore, and I was going to get to that, so thank you for bringing that up. But yes, this isn't the Suge Knight days anymore, right? In the 90s, they didn't have body cameras. They didn't have a lot of surveillance or this, that, and the other. They have so much oversight and so much micromanaging within the police force today that it would be deemed almost impossible, except, of course, with the exception that I mentioned to you with those south of the border towns in San Diego. You see their police force is a little bit older, a little bit outdated. You go to their police force, it would look like a small post office in a random desert town, USA, right? That's sort of the environment that they have, and it's still part of the United States. There's many places in the South that don't have cameras. I know that in your part of the United States, Marty, a lot of cops out there do have body cams, just like police forces in New York, just like police forces in Chicago. Well, not Chicago. See, that's the interesting thing, right? They just have these different politics where they don't have body cams, which is a reason why a lot of dudes get away with drilling other dudes in Chicago. But could they buy them off? No. But I tell you what, if you guys ever watched Ray Donovan on Showtime, right? He's a guy that gets things done, right? Is tied to the Irish mob with his family and this and that. They're tied to boxing. They're tied to the world of entertainment in LA and in New York in the later seasons, right? This is Ray Donovan I'm talking about, right? So what did he do? He went and solved a lot of problems for different celebrities. That was the synopsis of the whole show. Now, is it possible that Rampage has some Ray Donovans on his side? Of course he does. Every powerful man that has ever gotten into the movie set the way that he has, that has been a UFC champion, that has been a big name in the world of MMA and now in the world of podcasting, a guy like that definitely has some people behind him. Okay? So that's really what it is. Yeah, he'll have some problem solvers along the way. But bribing the police force, though, I don't think that is in the question. I just think that a lot of people create conspiratorial theories about this to basically justify to their minds, well, why are all these things going on, right? Because here's the thing, right? It's really a psychological damage to your brain when you're constantly consuming all of these content that is regarding, I don't know, um, uh, tragedies and injustices in the world. So the more that you're constantly consuming content that is speaking on tragedies and misconducts and transgressions and injustices around the world, you start and look at this and say, ah, look, here's another injustice that is going on. Now I have to try and justify this. Why isn't Raja going to prison? Because in your mind, you're like, well, you know what? It's wrong that the Palestinians are getting massacred by the Israelis, and we see this every day. And we're seeing a massacre right now in front of our eyes in a wrestling ring. Something has to be done to this. But then reality sets in and it tells you guys that, you know what, according to law, this and that, this is what's going on, the loopholes of this and the intricacies of that, in which MMA Guru was firing off at Chael Sonnen due to the reason of the fact that he just cannot understand American law to its fullest extent. Because MMA Guru lives in England where he is constantly suppressed by his government, and I feel for him, but that's just a reality of the situation that he has, to where he cannot say whatever it is that he wants to say, and resulting of that creates this psychological damage to his brain, in which he looks at the world from a skewed point of view, especially when it comes to American law versus how British law can interpret this. MMA Boar says, MMA Joey did a stream defending Raja, saying no charges and the wrestler would be happy it happened. You know what? A lot of people are going to hate to hear that. But, dude, listen, I guarantee you he is that type of guy that would be happy for that to happen to him. Look, you got to think about this, right? The brother is 50 years old. He's in the indie scenes, okay? When you're 50 years old, you should already be, at this point in the wrestling game, if you're 50 years old, you should already be Kevin Nash. You should already be Scott Hall, rest in peace. You should be Ric Flair. You should be all these old timers that we've seen back in the days. You should be X-Pac. But guess what? He's neither of those things. So therefore, it's kind of like, all right, you know what? What are we doing with this guy? You know what I mean? Like, at what point is he going to get his shine? It's just like a lot of these old, 40-year-old rappers that, that I knew back in New York and back in the West Coast out here, right? 50 years old, still doing the dang thing. But you know what? Hey, maybe sometimes you shouldn't quit, because there's a saying that goes, the old rappers of yesterday were a lot better than today. So they're saying maybe they should bring that old style back, right? That old New York 50 Cent style, that old, you know what I mean, for all my hip hop aficionados. But yeah, I saw something, Rampage asking to meet with Stu man to man. Yeah, man, I don't know if Stu would be down for that, though, Marty Miller. Boars MMA says, that's true. The viral moment boosts his name. That's what it is. He didn't have anything prior to this. And if he never got punched in the first place, he would have never gotten anything. Now, everybody in the world knows who Stu Smith is. Think about the name Stu Smith, okay? Think about how plain that is, right? Like, there's no ring to that name. There's no ring to Stu Smith. Stu Smith doesn't spell Kyrie Abu El-Kheer MMA. It doesn't spell that. Stu Smith certainly doesn't spell Marty Miller. You know what I mean? Double M. Like that. There's no sting to Stu Smith. So you wouldn't know him. And you know what? He had to steal the name from Syko Sid. Remember Syko Sid? The 6'9" blonde dude back in the WWE days. He used to play Shawn Michaels' bodyguard, and he got pissed off at Shawn Michaels one day. Then he just decided to go power bomb Shawn Michaels, because he was so sick and tired of being his bodyguard. You guys remember that? Big Boar says the promotion also is affiliated with Rikishi, the owner. You are muted. Oh, no. Am I muted? How about now? How about now, guys? Let me know if I'm sure as hell wouldn't know Stu Smith from a can of paint. Okay, I can hear you. Okay, okay, good. So you did hear what I said earlier, right? You know about how his name doesn't ring bell. So what I said was he stole the name Syko Stu from Psycho Sid, right? He was the former bodyguard of Shawn Michaels. Of course, he played different roles in the WWE more than that, but you know what I mean. You know, yeah, that's Psycho Sid in a nutshell. Okay, good. You don't know me from a can of paint. That's what I'm saying. So now his name has been boosted. This is a blessing for him. But you know what? He has to just wake up, though. That's the only thing. He's got to wake up. If he can wake up, then yeah. All right. So uh, I explored different possibilities of all of this, right? Obviously, I explored Psycho Stu as the crazy lunatic veteran. I talked about Raja in the way that his father sort of verbally abuses him, puts him down, and as a result of putting him down, he creates this uh, sense of anxiety, this sense of anxiousness and wanting to prove himself, right? Yeah, there's a lot that goes with that. Marty Miller says, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Stu agrees to not press charges for more money. So if anybody is going to pay off anybody, Jackson certainly can't pay off the LAPD because they are a modern police force in which they have a lot of oversight and a lot of micromanaging and a lot of surveillance. So that's not going to happen. But what he can do is mitigate from behind the scenes, get his people to talk to Stu's people and agree to a settlement and also some kind of promotion or some kind of uh, what do you call it? Uh, a possible WWE signing, right? Look, Stu, it's bad enough that I don't watch wrestling, right? I definitely would not watch WWE if Stu was wrestling before or after this, right? Like he's not a guy that, once again, brings pizzazz and jazz to anyone's feet, right? He doesn't bring Kyrie, El-Kheer MMA, or Marty Miller, Double M. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't bring any of that. He doesn't bring any of that at all. So I would not watch wrestling, based off of him. Okay, but what Rampage Jackson can do, being that he's affiliated with Dana White, TKO, which also involves the WWE, he could talk to them and say, "Hey, let's give him a job as a guest commentator, not even as the ring commentator, right? Not even as the ringside commentator, but kind of like what Megan O'Leary does for the UFC, like that. Give him that position, and they could make it happen. That is, if Uncle Dana White cares enough." Stu Unger, I don't. Stu Unger, yeah. Uh, so that's what it really comes down to, guys. So yeah. What else? Okay. You know what? More to this, right? What if Stu doesn't wake up? I know that he's woken up right now, but dude, we're talking about brain bleeding. Okay, we're talking about being unconscious. On top of that, he's 50 years old. He almost choked. Okay, so there's a respiratory issue that could be connected to this. A brain to blood issue that could be. Dude, this does not look good. And look, yeah, professional wrestler, cool, but you're not a boxer. You're not an amateur wrestler where you're like doing neck cranks or neck bridges to try and strengthen your neck or anything like that. Like you ain't doing none of that. You're not a conditioned combat athlete, and you're taking that shot from a kid that has trained all of his life. It's like, dude, what if also the guy is suffering from PTSD? He says, I don't know, but Kyrie does a great impression of Bear. Yeah, you know what? Listen, Raja, I didn't like this, man. I didn't like this. You know, I may have to snitch you to the cops, man. No way. No. Oh, wait. Rampage says I'm fired. No, never mind. Second guess that. I'm not gonna say I didn't see anything. Good job, buddy. Okay, what do you guys think of that? Bear impression. That dude pulled Raja off, challenged Rampage to a fight. That dude that pulled Raja off challenged Rampage. Oh, he did. Oh, wow. Spot on impression. Haha. Okay. So the dude that pulled him off, he challenged Rampage to a fight, or is it or is it Raja? Because okay, if it's Raja, I don't know how that makes sense. That dude looks a little bit bigger than a 155er. Because remember, Raja is a 155 fighter from what I understand. Correct me if I'm wrong. If he's of a different weight category, but yeah, please correct me if I'm wrong on that. Um, Not Russian newsman level, but good. Okay, fair enough. Boars MMA says, I didn't like that the wrestler and the ref took too long to go after Raja. Yeah, man, because that's the thing. They're not Herb Dean. They're not Herb Dean or Mark Goddard level. Yes, challenge Rampage to a fight. Wow, actually Rampage. Okay. And then the other problem with that, he's a little bit older, but then that other guy is not as experienced or as high level as Rampage. So I suppose maybe that could work, right? It's always good if, let's say, the guy is too high level, but if the guy is younger at a lower level, there's always a chance there, right? Like, yeah, like for example, if I was to fight Ken Shamrock right now, it would be all bad for Ken Shamrock, regardless of the accolades that he has, right? But I don't know if Rampage is that damaged right now. To a boxing fight. Oh, he's saying to a boxing fight. Okay, the guy who tackled Raja Rampage. Wow. Okay, so very interesting turn of events here. Yeah, a boxing fight would absolutely be of a different case then. Yeah, a different kind of fight, I would assume. Very different kind of fight. Yeah. So as I'm probably going to close out the final minutes of this, just a couple of things I was thinking. Right. There is no UFC this weekend. There will be no UFC this weekend, but there are UFC stars who are going to be in a boxing match, right? So that's a good segue that we talked about with the guy pulling off Rampage, or the guy that's challenging Rampage to a boxing fight, right? UFC fighters fighting in a boxing fight. Okay, here's a couple of bonus bonus rounds that I'm going to give you guys right now, right, regarding this particular subject. I think that boxing is the best sport for retired MMA fighters. I honestly think that it is. I need you to think about it like this, right? Why is it the best sport to transition to when you're an MMA fighter? When you're an MMA fighter, you're constantly beating up your body with a constant uh, wrestling, the Muay Thai. Look, the Muay Thai and the wrestling is ultimately what really, shortens MMA careers. Think about this, right? The shots from the limbs, okay? Not only the shots from the limbs, but also the constant grinding of wrestling, the constant, getting pulled and gripped and this, that, and the other. It's very taxing on your body. And then the type of training that you have to go through, yeah, man, it's very taxing on your body. So, what is the best result? Go into boxing, because boxing, believe it or not, is Look, the only thing that's hard about boxing is taking headshots. You understand? Like, that's the only thing that's hard about boxing. Everything else about boxing is standard and easy. I mean, look, no combat sports is easy, but boxing is easy in terms of how do I say this? In terms of your body, in terms of the training, right? Boxing is all aerobic, not anaerobic. It's all aerobic, not anaerobic. I need you to understand that, right? What is aerobic? Aerobic is like a slow paced jog. That's the best way to describe it. It's a slow paced jog. And anaerobic is a 400-meter sprint. Okay? Like 400 meters is long, but it's a sprint. It's a single sprint that you are doing. Okay? But it's still long. Marty Miller says, all of my injuries come from wrestling. Well, there you go, man. There you go. That's really what it is. Wrestling is so damaging. It is extremely, extremely damaging. I don't know, man. That's why a lot of people don't do it for long. Obviously, you see the Jordan Burroughs of the world, all these guys that go into the Olympics, but past their Olympic career, they don't really go in. Like, there's no, like, Yoel Romero at 48 years old in MMA, right? But there's no Yoel Romeros of the wrestling world, not even Yoel Romero, because Yoel Romero would not be able to compete in wrestling the way that he did now. So, Boars MMA says, you think the promotion will take the blame? No, they won't. So, speaking of the promotion, here's something that I wanted to tell you, right? Since we're getting really uncensored with this topic, right? So, the owners of the promotion are Samoan. They're all related to The Rock. They're all related to Rikishi and all these guys that are, part of that crew or part of that family, rather. And yeah, man, I'll tell you something about Samoans. If there's three things that I know Samoans know how to do is they know how to play football, they know how to be in the world of professional wrestling, and they know how to gangbang. So in other words, they come from a gangbang culture, so it's really no surprise to anybody that they were telling their talent to not cooperate with the police because they come from these environments. Okay, this is who they are. I mean, whether they like to admit it or not, or whether they think that, it's an exaggeration. I mean, that's really what it is. Trey Titan says BKB. Big Boar says the promotion took WWE ID out of their social media. Yeah, man, because it's bad press, and it's not to say that they will never do business with them again, right? Because they certainly will. They will certainly do business with them again. That is for certain, but it is not permanent. So, understand that. Yeah, it is definitely not permanent. All right, so let's see here. Okay, so what else? What else did we need to touch on in this subject? Um, hmm, Not much. Not much really. That's all that's really there is in this subject. Hold on, let me see. Maybe we can stay for a bit and talk MMA. Kind of liven things up a little bit because to be honest with you, listen. In any way that you look at this, there are no winners in this particular story, right? The only winners that are in this story, and you guys are going to hate me for saying it, are the content creators. Because let me tell you, man, this video or this particular story that I've been covering with Roger Jackson and homeboy Stu Smith is getting a whole lot of traction around the world. Okay, but right now this is a little bit of a kickback stream. This is more for just the boys and the regulars that are here. I'd like to celebrate them as well, and give them some interesting content, along the way. I will start doing more members only content where I'm going to get even more controversial about these particular topics. So be on the lookout for that. If you want to look out for my members only stream, along with some of the past member stream stuff that I did, real controversial topics, go check it out on my members stream only. It's very cheap, like literally $1, $2 at most. And yeah, you get some real quality, uncensored entertainment. And this live stream right here is sort of the catalyst for that, right? This is sort of giving you a bit of an understanding in terms of what you get regularly in the uncensored version of my members only content. So this live stream has been brought to you by my members only content available on YouTube. Do not forget to like and subscribe, and also hit the join button. Okay, you guys will love it. Okay, there's a lot of interesting content that I have in there, and oh, you know what? Hold on. I'm going to read the post that I had done, okay, that I had done the other day regarding, let's see here. Okay. Okay, here we go. So this is what I wrote about, you guys probably seen this. It is right on, you know what, I'm going to turn the camera back on real quick just so you guys can see the post, okay? Okay, so this is what I wrote on the post, okay? I wrote on the post, all these people that talk about how Raja Rampage Jr. is getting sued, you people have a delusional view with adults who have famous parents. It's the parents who can be sued for millions. So sue Raja for what? A 94 Civic? Now, the reason why, let me preface why I said that, right? The reason why I said that is because just because it is Rampage that is rich, it doesn't mean that it is Rampage who's going to pay. He is a 25-year-old male, and as a result of being a 25-year-old male, there's nothing that you're going to get out of him other than a 94 Civic. Yes, Marty Miller, that's precisely the reason why I said that. So as I wrote, I said thank you to all those who commented. I will be reading your comments on the next live stream. I will also drop a video in less than 10 minutes. Okay, so like as I promised, okay, so I'm going to put this on the timestamp right here. So let's see here. We're going to put this on the timestamp of 1 hour and 14 minutes. Okay, so that's it. 1 hour and 14 minutes is there it is for the community post. Okay, and that will be in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so here we are. As I told you guys, I will be reading these comments from the community section. Once again, let me read this funny post that had some people cracking up in here in the chat streams. So I wrote, all you people that talk about how Rampage Jr. is going to get sued, you people have a delusional view of adults who have famous parents. It is the parents who can be sued for millions. Sue Raja for what? His 94 Civic? Now, let me preface what I mean by that, right? What I'm trying to say is that obviously we're not talking about the criminal side of this particular case right now. We are talking about the civil side of this case. Of course, the comments will talk about some things differently, but I just wanted to preface that with you. So, as I was mentioning, it is him that can't be sued because he doesn't own anything other than 94 Civic. It is his parents that are millionaires, but it is not his parent who committed the alleged act. Okay, so Zaddy says exactly. Okay, and then English Literate says this situation, the way it broken by the internet personalities, how they treat facts of the story and how they inflame their own communities has opened my eyes to a surprising number of channels I used to visit to be informed if I missed something. Any creator that presents all of the information is dogpiled by people who are almost demanding to be rage baited into an excuse for pure bigotry while maintaining their moral and racial superiority. I used to be very critical of any interpretation society named the public as cattle. However, I see the public as being farmed for engagement. It reminds me of how SE spread the subject of IRE to be eaten alive, and the result was widespread by a brain widespread brain degeneration. So Danger says, nah, shouldn't be sued. He should get reprimanded and attempted charges. Okay. Mumu says, yeah, a lawsuit is not a wise decision. It would be better for the victim to just ride the fame and the money that will come out of this for him instead of trying to sue and waste money on lawyers. Raja already destroyed him pretty much his life for the foreseeable future. Okay, so I'm going to say that's a very good point. That is a good point. Okay, English Literate says, but I agree with you. Despite the time passing, they refuse to inform themselves and others. They would rather prolong their stay in the mindset that Roger will go to jail for life while being brutalized and humiliated in prison, and Rampage will slink away into poverty after he is bound in a public pillory. Shame-based culture where mistake. Radical sadism is the preferred state. I said, wow, that's deep. Deep that is, but true. Okay, so he says no one is talking about that. He needs locking up. Okay, so there it is. There are people who may get in Stu's ear to pursue a lawsuit, as I said. So, okay, so that is the rest of those comments. Okay, wait, is there more? No. Okay, there's not any more. Okay, so that is it for those comments right there. So, Rampage Jackson new video. What do you mean by that, Louis Paul? Let me know what you mean by that, my man. What there's wow, okay, there's a new video of Rampage Jackson. Let me see. Is it the one in the bowling alley? Is that what you're referring to? Are you referring to the one that's in the bowling alley right now? What is this? Rampage's response to Raja. What? Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. All right. This is interesting. Okay. Hold on a second.
Rampage Jackson goes live and addresses Raya's incident. Rampage Jackson went live for the first time since Raya's incident, condemning his son and consoling the wrestler. You know, it's hard for me to talk about it, but you know, I'm just keeping 100. You know, I feel bad about what happened to Syko Stu. I don't condone what my son did at all. Very, very unfortunate. If I was there, went that, but you know what I'm saying? I wasn't there. I'm a father, so you know, I gotta have my son's back, but I'm gonna let justice, you know, play out, take its course. Ain't much I can do on that side, but.
So that's interesting. He says, I'm going to let justice do its course. So this is a very politically correct statement that he made, and I think well played by his PR publicist. Let me tell you why, right? He's saying, let the law handle it. In other words, we already know how the law is handling it. What is the law doing in LA right now? They're out trying to hunt down Crips. Okay, they're not worried about Raja. They're worried about Crips in LA, and they're worried about you know, the Hoover Crips on top of that, you know, running a play in prostitution and all that. That's what they're worried about. They're not worried about Raja Jackson. So for him to say that, he's saying, you know what, I'm going to show you guys that the police are basically going to do nothing, and that'll be that.
But be a father. Y'all know I can't talk about this shit. I can't talk about any details and stuff like that. I can't really go into that. I hope y'all can respect that. The shit put me in like a bad mood, you know what I'm saying? I feel bad about Syko Stu and his family. His family had to see that I'm not, you know, taking up for my son or anything like that. I'm just telling you guys.
Well, you could say real, or you could say, you know, having a good PR strategy.
Facts, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing what any father would do is being a father in hard moments like this. Sometimes you proud of your kids, and sometimes you're not proud of your kids. But at the end of the day, you're still a father. Hopefully, one day I can meet Syko Stu and shake his hand and have a man-to-man with him and stuff like that. But who knows? But I don't condone Roger's conduct. And I hope Syko Stu can forgive me, myself, as a dad.
Well, a Syko Stu doesn't need to forgive you about anything. I mean, he doesn't owe you a forgiveness. You don't owe him an apology over anything. You didn't allegedly do anything. So yeah, see, he wants to make things right with Stu. Yeah, so I don't understand that Jesse on Fire headline where he says this is going to start a war. I think that was probably from the MMA Guru response. But we'll see what that's about, and obviously this is going to get even more fiery.
Because for not understanding everything, you know what I'm saying? And let's see what happens from here. Daniel Cormier schools young fighter during sparring.
Oh wow, let's watch this. Hold on a second. Daniel Cormier just makes it look easy. Look at this. This is me against the trolls in the chat. I'm Daniel Cormier. You guys are the smaller guys that are the trolls in the chat. There it is. Yes, see that? This is what I do to y'all verbally. Control, remain top position, make it look so easy, fluent. Right, just play with them. Oh, what is this?
Dylan Dennis recently sparred with Mike Perry.
Mike Perry. Oh, okay. Mike Perry and
McGregor was impressed by their sparring. Awesome.
All right, guys. Well, with that in mind, that is all that I really have for this particular topic at this particular time. Perry isn't looking great. Yeah, you know what? I had too many wars. I think having too many wars will affect you like that. But on any regard, guys, listen. Thank you, everybody that's tapped in around the world. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, check out the members section only because I will be dropping more on the members section only. In the meantime, check out the old members section content that I have, very controversial topics that you're going to enjoy for just $1 or $2. And I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Inshallah. I'll see you in the next live stream, video content, and everything in between. Inshallah.